On the news, 2 killed in Lagos pipeline explosion. President Buhari's anti-graft war yields huge success with conviction of Judicial or Kano. And Senate passed 2020 budget after 260 billion naira increase. A warm welcome to News Now. At least 2 people have been killed following a pipeline explosion at the Barawa area of Alimosho local government area of Lagos State. The incident is said to have occurred as a result of the activities of pipeline vandals engaged in illegal oil bunkering. The inferno, which started at about 7 a.m. in the morning, was eventually put out by men of the Lagos Fire Service. TV360 visited the scene of the explosion and spoke with residents who explained how the fire started.
We all are here, according to how we work. And unfortunately, there is some people that bathed here, and we hear explode of fire coming by my left. As we hear boom. So everybody, and the thing shook even this wood. And some people run away. Thank God there is no any car that is passing. Before we know, the fire have circulated everywhere. And unfortunately, 2 men was burned here. And according to the information we have here, that 1 have already been dead. So we are trying to put this road in order so that these people can cross with leg.
Sea Pirates have seized 19 expatriates on board of a vessel loaded with Bonny Light crude oil 17 nautical miles from Bonny Island in Rivers State. The expatriates, including 18 Indians and 1 Turkish national, were abducted shortly after the vessel loaded at the offshore facility of Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria Limited, SPDC. The Nigerian Navy Command on Bonny Island has confirmed the development on Thursday. Confirming the incident, the command noted that the affected vessel was earlier attacked on Wednesday after it was loaded on December 3rd. It, however, stressed that following this attack, the vessel managed by Integrated Shipping Services failed to request for naval protection after reloading and entering international waters. The command also revealed that it is in communication with 7 of the crew members left on board of the Hong Kong flag vessel and is investigating the matter. Former Abia State Governor and Senate Chief Whip Judicial Kano has been taken away to prison after he was convicted and sentenced to 12 years in prison for fraud. Kano was arraigned alongside his company, Sloke Nigeria Limited, and former Director of Finance in Abia State on a 39-count charge brought against them by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Giving judgment on the matter on Thursday, Justice Mohammed Idris found the defendants guilty on all counts. In his judgment, Justice Idris sentenced Kano to 12 years in jail and ordered that Sloke Nigeria Limited be liquidated and its asset forfeited to the federal government. Following the judgment, Kano was escorted out of the court by prison officials, while it is not clear if he plans to appeal against the judgment. The Nigerian Senate and House of Representatives has passed the 2020 budget, with the Ministry of Works getting the highest capital allocation of 315 billion naira. The budget was passed after lawmakers deliberated on the report of the Senate Committee on Appropriations submitted to the House on Wednesday. With their approval, the lawmakers will now transmit the budget to President Muhammadu Buhari for assent. There is more in this next report.
Page 515.
Nigeria is very well on its way to returning to the January-December budget cycle with the approval of the 2020 appropriation bill by the National Assembly. But the approval wasn't without some changes, as we've seen in the past. The 10.33 trillion naira budget presented by President Muhammadu Buhari on October 8 has been increased to 10.594 trillion naira. Chairman Senate Committee on Appropriations explains why the lawmakers took the decision.
It's important to state that the committee worked harmoniously with the executive arm of the government in the processing of this bill, which ensured the collaboration of the 2 arms in the utilization of additional revenue projection to fund or to improve the funding of some critical projects which could not be adequately funded in the both project proposal submitted by Mr. President due to funding constraints. Consequently, the increase allows for interventions in critical areas such as national security, road infrastructure, mines and state development, health, social needs, water, among others. It is also in line with the budget trust of government, which is focused on growing development and sustainable growth.
Tagged Budget of Sustaining Growth and Job Creation, the 2020 appropriation bill targets a revenue of 8.155 trillion naira, with the oil sector expected to generate 1/3 of this figure. It also pegs the exchange rate at 305 naira to a dollar. Not so impressed with this outline is former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, who says the government could have done better.
Between us, we know that there's no way in Nigeria you get dollar at 305. But we are using 305 as the official exchange rate. Regrettably, when we earn our revenue in dollars, the distribution is in naira. So I will find out that we end up strategizing the levels of government. So it is either that we distribute the revenues to the states and local government and the federal government in dollars, or we accept an appropriate exchange rate of about 360 or 350.
Ekweremadu also advised the government to channel more resources to addressing the issue of climate change.
Nigeria has not shown sufficient interest in environmental issues, from desertification to coastal erosion to gully erosions to pollution. And if you look at the appropriation this year, we have about 9 billion for the whole of environment. The implication is that while I was in Madrid, I discovered that Nigeria is one of the only countries among our peers that doesn't have a pavilion because we could not provide $200,000. So if we are serious about such sectors, we must provide for them.
The budget was thereafter put to a voice vote and passed by the Senate President.
A bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 10,594,364,830 naira only for the year ending on the 31st day of December 2020, third reading taken and passed.
Changes made by the lawmakers include an increase in National Assembly allocation from 125 billion naira to 128 billion naira. Also adjusted was the benchmark price of crude from $55 to a barrel to $57 per barrel. Fidelia Guncha, TV360, Abuja. Well, back to judicial matters. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has ordered the Department of State Services DSS to release human rights activist Omoyele Sowore and his co-defendant Olawale Bakari within the next 24 hours. Justice Ijoma Ojukwu reproved the DSS for asking the sureties of Sowore and Bakari to come forward after she had signed a release warrant for both men. The judge also ordered the DSS to pay the sum of 100,000 naira to the defendant for foisting frivolous adjournment on the court. Sowore and Bakari have been in DSS custody since August, when both men were arrested for planning a revolution protest to demand better governance. The DSS has refused to release both men despite court orders directing the agency to do so. Meanwhile, a Kaduna State High Court has ordered the transfer of Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, leader of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, IMN, from the custody of the Department of State Services DSS to a correctional center in the state. In his ruling on Thursday, Gideon Kudafa, the trial judge, said this will enable their lawyers and doctors have easier access to them. The couple has been in DSS custody since December 2015, when they were arrested after a clash between soldiers and IMN members in Zaria, Kaduna State. The judge thereafter adjourned the case to February 6, 2020 for commencement of trial. Just like Sowore, El-Zakzaky and his wife Zinat have been granted bail by various courts, but the federal government has refused to release the couple, saying they are being held back for their own safety. The Kano State House of Assembly has passed an executive bill seeking to split the state into 5 emirates through the creation of 4 new emirates. The lawmakers passed the bill presented by Governor Abdullahi Ganduje on Monday during plenary today. Well, this is coming days after the State High Court nullified the creation of the new emirate and appointed emirs. Governor Ganduje had created the new emirate last year in a development widely seen as an attempt to whittle down the influence of the Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi. Giving reasons for the decision, Leader of the House, Labaron Abdul Madari, said the creation of the new emirate was aimed at spreading development across the state. He said the lawmakers' decision was in public interest. He added that the new law will provide for a state council of chiefs with its chairmanship rotated every 2 years among the now 5 emirs of the states. Well, it's that time of the year again when Lagosians begin to experience the usual tradition of increased traffic congestion ahead of the festive season. Business activities have been stalled as a result of the many hours spent in traffic, leaving commuters less productive in their various businesses. Health practitioners have also been identifying the implication to health. Additional Judicial tells us more in this next report.
Commuters in Lagos are choked with the frustrations about the daily hassle of traffic congestions. Many of them show up at their workplaces late, tired and exhausted. Despite being the smallest state in the country in terms of land mass, Lagos State has the highest urban population with an estimated 22 million people and counting. Since the city relies solely on road transportation, approximately 5 million vehicles cram into the tiny network of just 9,100 roads every day. As a result, an average Lagosian spends at least 30 hours in traffic each week. Commuters have since been lamenting about their experience.
It's been horrible. We have to leave the home 2 hours or wherever we're coming from in order to be able to pick the children. A journey that should take nothing less than 20 minutes, we're spending 2 hours getting to school in the morning and picking them after school.
Mother will go feed the food up. Mother 1 hour, 3 hour time. I think you understand. Whether I go, whether I small pothole, I some bad road. I don't know what the cause them. Even though I come for Tatana Airport now, I don't have before I call here for Tatana Airport. I take to take about 3 hours for Tatana Airport there.
We kind of expected it. It happens like that every celebration period in Lagos, usually November, December. So usually more people enter or more people tend to come into Lagos, and because of that, there's increase in traffic. Most of the times I live on traffic. I feel I could even carry my kettle, so I can cook on the traffic. These days, the traffic is part of our life these days in Lagos, so we can't do without it.
Meanwhile, officials of the Lagos State Traffic Management Agency, LASMA, have said initiatives are underway to ensure compliance of traffic laws, which could be a major contributing factor to the traffic situation.
Whenever there is construction in progress, there are some diversion, there are some alternative routes that people should follow, and the way road users behave on the road, like following one ways, doing all sorts of things, injecting nonchalant attitude. These are the causes of traffic congestion, which is against our own job.
Environmental and noise pollution from traffic congestions also take a huge toll on mental and physical health, as this may increase both stress level and impact climate change.
Traffic has a lot of psychological problem on us. First and foremost, you get easily irritable. There's outpouring of stress hormone into your body. The quality of air you breathe has direct effect in your cardiovascular system, respiratory system, increase your stress hormone, and affect the way you react to things in the environment. Apart from this air quality and all those things we see around, the level of noise in traffic, you can imagine you are still battling with the horns of vehicles while you are commuting. Suddenly behind you, there's the blazing of blaring of a siren.
It affects us as humans. It affects our health. A lot of the vehicles on the road, the emission, they are not controlled. we don't have any regulation that regulates, emission control in the state. And so all the vehicles on the road, the carbon they emit and things like that, people inhale them, which affects our health. Even the innocent ones, the babies and the likes that are on the road, it affects them, affects everybody.
Africa's most populous city, Lagos, has been projected to become the world's biggest city by 2100, with a population of 88.3 million people. There is, however, a need to fast-track the construction of better roads and a high-capacity transit system to reduce effects on personal health, environmental and business activities. Adeshawa Odushoga, TV360 Lagos, Nigeria.
News now will continue in just a moment. Don't go away.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
On TV360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent. Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country?
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that ballot.
TV360, providing clarity to issues.
Welcome back. Let's now talk business with Oyin Adekunle. Hello, Oyin.
Hi, Fidelia.
So tell me what's making headlines over there.
Well, the Federal Ministry of Power has announced the introduction of a new electricity distribution policy called Willing Seller, Willing Buyer. It said under the new policy, electricity would be wheeled directly from generation companies to willing consumers ready to fully settle their bills. The ministry said in a statement that the willing consumers might include community and commercial clusters, industrial areas, and hospitality sectors. The state also revealed that discos had not been distributing all the power wheeled to them on the pretense that the consumers were unable to pay for the power. It, however, added that with the anticipated improvement in power supply to the country, the increase in electricity tariffs was inevitable considering the cost of energy generation. The federal government is set to retake full possession of the Yola Electricity Distribution Company with about 27 billion naira. The National Assembly is billed to approve the sum of 26.9 billion naira as refund for the acquisition of the company by private investors. The House of Representatives Committee on Appropriations has recommended the payment in its report on the 2020 appropriation bill scheduled for consideration and adoption. It is listed as item 188 under the capital supplementation component of the 2020 budget. The federal government had hinted at taking over the distribution companies following complaints about poor electricity distribution in the country. Well, let's now take a break here and return with a review of activities on the stock market. Please stay tuned. Trading has continued in the NSE for the fourth straight day today, now without any respite. The all-share index, which opened at 26,938 basis points, dropped by 25 points today, which is approximately 0.09%. Market capitalization of all listed equities also decreased by 13 trillion naira to from 13 previous. I beg your pardon. Let's take that over again. Market capitalization of listed equities went from 13 trillion naira in previous session to 12.989 trillion naira today. And the summary of market activity clearly shows how investors or how trading activity went today. Investors have resumed sell-offs, and that is the reason for the reversal witnessed in the market today. The total value of trade today came up to 2.8 billion naira, and that's like double of what was recorded in previous session. That's yesterday. Sell-offs also weakened market breadth, which closed at 19 losers versus 8 gainers today. Leading the worst performers is Abico PLC of the construction sector with 47 kobo price drop, followed by Fitson, of course, whose share price saw a reduction of 35 kobo. Access and Medview Air also comes in third and fourth place, respectively, on the losers chart. Now, flipping over to the equities that managed to keep their heads above water today, 8 of them actually, excluding the ones whose share prices remained unchanged. We have Dangote Sugar sitting right on top of the gainers chart today, having chalked gains to the tune of 1 naira and 10 kobo. The shares of USCN, which previously sold at 7 naira and 55 kobo, also jacked up by 50 kobo today to close at 8 naira and 5 kobo. Nigeria Breweries and Cotix PLC also made gains of 21 kobo, and when you split that, it's 15 kobo for Nigeria Breweries and the remaining 6 kobo for Cotix PLC. Onto the foreign markets now. Let's see how trading activities went today. See that FTSE actually dropped today as blue chips are weighed down by currency gains. The performance of Dow Jones is not any different, as we see 0.062% drop for Dow Jones. And of course, Nikkei remains unperturbed as Japan stocks closed higher on renewed trade optimism. And that's it from here, Fidelia. It's back to you.
Well, thank you, Oyin, for that review. It seems there is no change at the NSE. The market is still nosediving. And I think we should hope for better update tomorrow, which will be the last trading day for the week.
Of course.
Well, let's now move to the foreign scene. A 23-year-old rape victim has been set ablaze by a group of men on her way to the court hearing in Uttar Pradesh, India, sparking outrage across the country. The woman was on her way to a train station when her attackers dragged her to a nearby field before she was doused with kerosene and set on fire. She is now in critical condition in the hospital where she is being treated for severe burns. Police say 5 men, including 2 of her alleged rapists, have been arrested and are being questioned. This is the latest gruesome case of violence against women in India, and there's been no sign that crimes are abating. Just last week, a 27-year-old vet was raped and murdered in Hyderabad city. According to recent crime statistics, nearly 100 rapes are reported in the South Asian country on a daily basis. Very sad one, I must say. Now to sports. Over 200 girls have begun training at the Azizat Oshola Football Championship for girls. The 3-day event kicked off on Wednesday actually at the Campos Mini Stadium, Victoria Island. The first phase of the screening will end on Friday, December 6th, after which talented players will be selected to compete in the championship finals billed for December 21st to 24th. At the end of the tournament, the best player will be given football scholarship training in Spain, while 23 outstanding players will be enrolled in the Barcelona Academy in Lagos.
We shortlisted 23 who will be playing a select 23 women's squad from the Nigerian Women Premiership League. Yeah, they will play the 23 best from this tournament. That will come up tomorrow. And then at the end of the day, we'll be shortlisting 3 who will be MVP for this tournament. Those 3 will be getting cash prizes, while the overall MVP would get a cash prize as well as a tour of Spain. So the MVP, the overall best player for this tournament, will be going to Spain for a playing tour for like a week or 2. Yeah, so that's the whole idea about this tournament. It's Azizat Oshuala's way of giving back to society. We had about 1,500, from which we'll be shortlisting to 3, and then to 23, I beg your pardon, and then we'll now have 3 who would now comprise of the MVP of the tournament.
Oshuala, she's a player of Barcelona women's soccer team, one of our best players, and we are proud to collaborate with a foundation with ideals that Azizat Oshuala Foundation shares with us to promote a better society, to develop values, and also footballers. It's the common values with Barcelona. It's amazing. This is the first time here that I saw this number of players, of female players, with this passion for the game, with this ambition to have opportunities and to show their abilities, and at the same time to learn from our coaches of Barça Academy Lagos. So we are really happy with this experience.
For that, it's on news now. Many thanks for watching. I am Fidelia Aguncha. Bye for now.